From the crack of a baseball bat at Wrigley Field to fireworks at Navy Pier over Lake Michigan, this weekend is all about summer vibes and American classics. We're in Chicago for the 4th of July and it feels like stepping into a summertime postcard. So come along as we soak in the sun and explore this historic city. Well, hello friends, and welcome to Chicago. We just arrived last night. We got in at around 8 p.m., checked into our hotel, and then very promptly made our way to find some late night deep dish pizza. We went to Lou Malnati's and just ordered their classic Chicago style deep dish pizza. It came with sausage on it. It was really good. Deep dish pizza, I'm kind of a hit or miss on. I've had some ones that I loved, had some that weren't as good. This was a good one for sure though. We got some cheesy breadsticks too, and the entire restaurant, such a vibe, smelled incredible. The food was all delicious. We spent a bit of time just walking the streets at night too. Everything was lit up, looked gorgeous, and you could really tell that the 4th of July is today. Well, yesterday was tomorrow, but you could just tell everything felt very patriotic. Everything was lit up red, white, and blue. There were flags everywhere. So it was a great welcome to the city, but today it's Independence Day, the 4th of July, and we have so many fun plans for today, but probably the thing I'm most excited about is in a minute we're about to get ready for, we're going to a Cubs versus Cardinals, so epic rivalry matchup. We're going to a Cubs game at Wrigley Field. It's one of the oldest ballparks in the country, and does it get more American than baseball on the 4th of July? I don't think it does, and Christopher's a huge Cubs fan too, so I'm just really looking forward to this game. So we're about to get ready for that, and then later today we're going to be attending a symphony in the park, explore some more of Chicago. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm just really looking forward to this weekend. We've got 3 full days here. We're going to try to pack in as much as we can. So we started our day at a sweet little spot called Wildberry Cafe, which was a short walk from our hotel. It had all kinds of classic brunchy foods. We ordered a breakfast hash and I got the berry crepes with their signature berry mascarpone filling. It was all really good and it filled us up for the day's adventures. And we took the red line up to Wrigley Field and spent a couple of hours exploring the area before the game. In Gallagher Way, they had a bunch of games set up. You could learn more about the historic ballpark, the history of the Cubs. We even got to see the Budweiser Clydesdales, and Dalmatian was so cute. Then we made our way into the ballpark, grabbed some food, and found our seats ready for the game to begin. Especially with Christopher being a big Cubs fan, we could not have picked a better game to go to. The atmosphere was amazing. It was a sold-out game. There was a ton of action. Home runs were being scored left and right. For a few innings there, it felt like every time someone came up to bat, a new run was being scored. The Cubs actually set multiple records this game, one of them being the most solo home runs scored in a single game. There really is something just special and electric about a baseball game on a sunny afternoon in the middle of summer.
Then towards the end of the game, something really unexpected and fun happened. A family friend who works for the Cubs was able to get us seats right up front, just past first base, so we got to finish the game and celebrate the Cubs win in the thick of the action. Then after the game, we made our way back to the city center and Grant Park, taking a quick peek at the Bean on the way for the Grant Park Orchestra's Independence Day Salute. The Grant Park Music Festival is a 10-week festival that happens throughout the summer. With it being the 4th of July, this day's concert featured a number of patriotic favorites. It was a beautiful symphony. We sat in the lawn section for free and just enjoyed the music, the warm weather, the vibes. We loved it. And afterwards, we made our way back to the Bean, officially known as Cloud Gate, to get a more up-close look. It really is such a unique and interesting sculpture that has truly become iconic. It's fascinating to see the way that it reflects the sky and the surrounding buildings. Then to round out our day, we grabbed dinner at Tiny Tapp Cafe right along the Chicago River and got to enjoy the sunset along the water, the city lit up at night. I got a classic Chicago-style hot dog and it was surprisingly tasty. The next morning, we started our day by stopping at LA Berdict Chocolate to try their viral caramel latte made with homemade, slow-cooked caramel. When I tell you, this was truly incredible, the best caramel latte I've ever had. It was the perfect amount of sweetness and the caramel just melted in your mouth. It was so good. So we sipped on those and slowly strolled the streets of Chicago, making our way to our next stop, Mr. Beef. If you've ever seen the show The Bear, which if you haven't, go watch it, it's incredible, but Mr. Beef was the inspiration for the original sandwich shop in the show. First season was filmed there. We're big fans, so of course we had to go there for lunch and order the Italian beef sandwich.
Just popped back to the hotel to refresh. It's 91 degrees outside right now, so just wanted to cool off a little bit before heading out to our architecture boat cruise in a minute. But quick review, Mr. Beef was so good. I got both the sweet and the hot peppers, and I think that was the right decision. But yeah, really glad we went. I felt like it was a really fun, very authentic feeling experience. Like, it's still cash only. Didn't really feel commercialized at all, which I love. You could even hear there was a bit of bickering between some of the employees. One or two yes chefs were heard. I thought it was great. But now I think we've got about an hour to kill before we need to leave for our architecture cruise. So I think we might try walking down to Lake Michigan because we haven't seen it yet. I know it's only 2 blocks down from where we're staying. We're at the Hyatt Regency. So I think it might be fun to see that. We might just walk down Michigan Avenue a bit. There's all kinds of cool just specialty shops. There's a Nutella Cafe and Starbucks Reserve. Just lots of cool shops along Michigan Avenue. So I think we might explore some of those before heading to our boat ride.
So after enjoying the AC for just a bit longer, we made our way to the water and ended up at Lakeview Park, where, as the name suggests, we enjoyed some gorgeous views of Lake Michigan. You could see Navy Pier, there's a cool yacht club. And as we wandered, we stumbled upon the beginning of the Chicago RIVERWALK, which is a really cool mile-long, essentially a greenway that goes all along the south bank of the Chicago River. And there's great views, restaurants, it's beautifully landscaped. We decided to walk along it to get to our architecture boat tour. Okay, but then let's talk about this architecture tour because it really was such a highlight of our Chicago trip. When we were planning to come to Chicago, I asked some friends who'd lived there as well as some locals just what they recommended doing during our weekend in Chicago, and this was one of the most recommended things, and it didn't disappoint. Chicago is such an interesting city in the sense that it was one of the first cities around the world to have skyscrapers, and so you have skyscrapers dating back to the early 1900s. And as you look at the skyline, you can see so many different architecture styles represented. So the tour was really fascinating and was a great opportunity to learn about some of the history of Chicago as told through some of its most famous buildings. I think one of the fun facts that really stood out to me was as we were learning about some of the more modern skyscrapers is that often the larger skyscrapers that you see will have either a swimming pool or even just a large basin of water towards the top of the building, which helps to balance out the building if there's ever an earthquake or really high winds, as often happen in Chicago. So needless to say, I would highly recommend doing one of these tours if you come to Chicago. Even if you're not that into architecture, it's really nice just being able to enjoy the views from out on the water. You get some really pretty vistas of the city, and especially on hot days, it was nice to just enjoy a bit of a breeze. And then from the tour, we next made our way to the John Hancock Tower, which I believe is the second or third tallest building in the city. It's quite impressive looking at it from ground level, but we were there to see the city from the sky. They recently opened up, it's called 360 Chicago and a Sky Bar, and essentially the entire top level of the John Hancock Tower has been converted into an observation deck. So you can go up and enjoy some of the most magnificent views of the city while getting a drink or snack, whatever you want. It was really cool being able to just enjoy the city from a bit of a different perspective. From the ground level, it can be sometimes hard to appreciate just how big they are, but man, it's impressive. So we spent a while up there just enjoying the views. They have plenty of seating before making our way back down. And as the sun was setting, we walked down to Navy Pier for the fireworks show. During the summer months, Navy Pier does a fireworks show every Wednesday and Saturday. So with it being the Saturday after the 4th of July, we knew we didn't want to miss it. We got there fairly early. The fireworks weren't until 10 p.m. So we grabbed some dinner and just set up camp on the edge of the lake and just enjoyed watching some of the passing boats, and there was even a drone display while we were waiting. And actually that was really cool. I'd never seen a live drone show like that before. Then the fireworks started and we just got to enjoy the show. It was all set to music. We got to enjoy the sky lighting up over Lake Michigan. Then the following morning was our last full day in Chicago, so we wanted to check off some of the places that we wanted to go to but hadn't gotten to yet, the first of which was the Nutella Cafe. My family grew up loving Nutella, so this was really fun and kind of nostalgic for me. It's the first and only Nutella Cafe in the entire world, and as you imagine, everything comes with plenty of Nutella on top. I got the Nutella crepes with banana, strawberry, and whipped cream, as well as a mocha latte made with Nutella. I will say it was a lot of chocolate. I did not finish the entire coffee, but it was really tasty. I love a good crepe and also just a fun experience. Then after breakfast, we made our way to the Art Institute of Chicago, which is another spot that I had so many people recommend that we visit. It's a world-class art museum featuring so many different eras and styles of painting. Personally, I've always had a huge affinity for the Impressionists, so we spent a good chunk of our time in this gallery. There were names from all of the artists you'd hope to see: Van Gogh, Renoir, Degas, Cezanne. There was an entire Monet room. I was so excited when I walked into one room and was just immediately greeted by this A Sunday on La Grande painting. It's like the pointillism painting. I remember learning about it in art class, so it was so fun getting to see it in person. Christopher and I are both really big appreciators of art, so we just took our time really enjoying and appreciating all of the masterpieces in this museum.
Well, today is off to another great start. We just finished exploring the Art Institute of Chicago, which is just here behind me. Now I'm wandering through. There's this beautiful, beautiful wildflower garden right in the heart of Millennium Park. You can literally see all the skyscrapers behind me. The bean is just over the little, what is this, like a cedar hedge this way. But yeah, just taking a moment to enjoy this space. I just dropped Christopher off. He's at the NASCAR street race today, which is not really my scene. I guess does fit with the Americana vibes of the weekend, but I decided to skip that and instead just to spend some time exploring Chicago solo today. So I think I'm going to check out a bit more of Michigan Avenue. We've been walking up and down it over the past few days, but really haven't stopped inside there's some really cool looking shops, so might check those out, but also just spending a bit of time right now to enjoy the gardens. There's so many butterflies, pollinators, and just beautiful flowers here. So yeah, taking a moment to enjoy this.
We learned on our architecture tour that the city of Chicago's motto is a city in a garden, and you can really see that reflected in the extensive parks and green spaces that they've built into the framework of the city. And for a place that has skyscrapers literally stacked on top of each other, it has a very lush and refreshing feeling. But then for my solo explorations, I decided to kick things off with a little treat for myself. So I found a Magnolia Bakery, and I've always wanted to visit one. So I got a chocolate and sea salt caramel cookie, as well as a London fog latte. I was kind of leaning into the overcast vibes. It did rain just a little bit, not so much that I couldn't still walk around and enjoy the city, especially since I'd brought an umbrella, but it did make me want to get just a bit cozy. Then afterwards, I explored Michigan Avenue and the Magnificent Mile, about a 1 mile long section of Michigan Avenue that's one of the world's most iconic shopping districts. There's a Starbucks Reserve, a Harry Potter store, all the designer brands you can think of. For the most part, I just window shopped, but I did pick up one piece when I was in Zara. I thought these shorts were really cute. Oh, and my family are huge fans, so also stopped in Garrett's Popcorn. It's a Chicago staple. I picked up a bag of their caramel crisp popcorn to bring home. And as I was exploring Michigan Avenue, I decided to stop and get a closer look at the Chicago Tribune building. Something else we learned during our architecture tour, our guide mentioned that they'd incorporated stones from dozens of historic sites into the base of the building. I thought that was such a cool concept, so I wanted to check it out for myself. There were some that were obviously older, that had been around for a while, like they had a piece of the Great Pyramid from Egypt, a piece from L'Arc de Triomphe in Paris, Fort Sumter, the White House, the stone George Washington stepped on when he crossed the Delaware, the Notre Dame, the World Trade Center, everywhere you could think of. So I literally just went around the building, looking at all the stones, seeing the signs. I don't know, this just really stuck out to me as one of those things that I felt like was so cool. Maybe a little random, but a cool highlight for me to end the trip on.
Well, our time in Chicago is coming to a close, but we truly have had just the best time here celebrating the long weekend, Independence Day, the 4th of July. I feel like we really did get a true Chicago experience, getting to see the ball game, seeing kind of the softer side of the city as well today. Chicago really is just such a romantic city, I feel, and just such a clash of so many interesting architectural styles. I love the gardens here. There's just so much to do, to see. I feel like we really did just try to pack as much as we could into this weekend and did get to enjoy just such a fun variety as well. It's one of the things I love about this place. I'm already looking forward to when we can come back to, but we have a very early flight in the morning. I think our Uber is scheduled to pick us up at 3:20, which it's going to be a pretty sleepless night, so going to try to get as much rest as we can this evening, but really hope that you enjoyed coming along with me as we explored Chicago, and that if you have a trip to the city coming up soon, that you can take away some ideas and inspiration on just different things to do, places to visit, and just ways to enjoy the city. So thank you all so much for watching, for exploring Chicago with me, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye, friends.